Not well rested or dreading work, but genuinely happy. Most mornings I wake up feeling like I have respawned after taking fall damage. Is this just adulthood? How often do you wake up actually happy? Story 1. In my experience, people greatly misunderstand happiness. We are not built to be happy all the time. In fact, being happy is more like whipped cream on a cake of life satisfaction, which is more of a yeah, things are fine kind of feeling. Expecting to be happy all the time or very often is a surefire way to end up miserable because the faulty expectation leads to a constant feeling of doing something wrong. So, to answer your question, rarely. I make sure I wake up well rested, and that alone is a great feeling for me. I have no expectation of experiencing the rush of happiness in my daily life, but I end up being happy quite often despite that, or maybe exactly because of that. Story 2. Every morning when I wake up and see my significant other sleeping with her head on my chest, it is my favorite part of the morning. Story 3. I actually remember the last time I woke up happy. It was in college around 2010. It was rare and powerful. Story 4. Every day, I am divorced and unattached. The best feeling right now is waking up and deciding that I can do whatever I want. Story 5. I can't remember the last time I woke up happy. I was bullied badly in school, got a job at 16, and have been working ever since. Now I am 30. I am not on a bad salary. It could be better, but it doesn't fulfill me. Not a lot fulfills me, I don't think. I do things I enjoy, like going to concerts, writing music, and traveling to places, but I never wake up excited for anything or in a great mood. Maybe it is just normal. I am not really happy living in the United Kingdom. It is miserable, but the grass is not exactly greener on the other side, especially considering how hard it is to get visas or job sponsorships abroad. So I am just kind of stuck here in a loop, with small events scattered throughout the year to look forward to for brief moments. Story 6. I feel this question needs some context. Happiness is not easy to define, especially when compared to contentment. For example, I wake up content most mornings. Things are okay. Waking up full of happiness is reserved for special days. If I woke up happy every morning, soon happiness would lose its value and become contentment. On a related note, I know many people who complain about their lot in life and always have someone or something to blame for it. Ultimately, for your lot in life, the responsibility stops with you. You are responsible for how much effort you are willing to put into making the life you want. Setbacks are guaranteed. What you do about them is on you. Story 7. We lose the bloom of youth and the small simple joys. Waking up becomes an act. My mother used to say I was the most cheerful child, her ray of sunshine. While I am not unhappy at the thought of waking, I feel much more inclined to find pleasure in my life by enjoying that first flat white of the day. Story 8. Oh, literally never. I am not a morning person. I generally wake up like I am coming round, washed up on a beach after a shipwreck. Story 9. If I don't have insomnia or headache and am not sick, then every morning might be a happy morning, especially with the bonus of morning wood. Story 10. Usually, when I wake up and have something fun to look forward to that day, like seeing my friends or boyfriend, going to an amusement park, and so on. Story 11. All the time, I think that happiness means different things to different people. Maybe my standard for happiness is lower than others. My mother says I have something that translates to English as stupid happy. Story 12. Once, but not when I was in my 30s or 20s. It was when I was a kid before my teenage years. All I did was play video games until I was tired. I woke up feeling happy and rested, but at the same time, it felt like a short nap. Good old times. Story 13. Unfortunately, though I am madly in love and my situation is not too bad compared to many others who are truly struggling, I can tell you that I have struggled with depression, which is a chemical condition and not a perspective-based one, for almost my entire life. I also hate my job. They say if you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. Well, I work 5 days a week. It is a miserable job, but it pays well. As a result, it is rare for me to wake up happy. My general feeling upon waking is wondering what sort of terrible challenges I will face today. Story 14. I am not saying I was unhappy before I had children. I have always led a pretty fulfilling life. Now I have two children, and the oldest is almost 2 years old. I wake up every single morning genuinely excited to see them. Story 15. Honestly, often when I open my eyes, it really brings me joy because I made it to see another day. If my mood is not right, I pray for it to get better. I plan my days intentionally, and when it is harder to be happy, I accept that it is just a day that is not as good as yesterday. Story 16. I have a 2-year-old, and a good night of sleep truly makes me feel happy. It always has. I know I will be able to be attentive to what comes my way, have a full and possibly productive day, and maybe sneak in some Civilization 7 and whiskey when everyone goes to bed. Manifest the destiny you want. Story 17. I am miserable because I almost never get enough sleep, but aside from being tired, I would still say I am generally happy. Story 18. Yes, and I think it helps to try to make yourself at home in the places you frequent and find good reasons to visit them. If there are none, you need to make a change. Random side note, the first thing on my mind now is, should I go to the gym today? I only go at 8 p.m. There is a crazy amount of good that comes from that place if you make yourself at home. Story 19. Happy? I'm not skipping down the street or tap dancing on the roof. If my house is warm when it is cold or cool when it is hot, there is food in the fridge, and every now and then there is a half-naked woman on the bed with me. I'm all good. Story 20. I do not really think about it right when I wake up. Let me share something that I have learned throughout life. Constant self-assessment is not helpful. Let us say you set a timer to randomly go off 12 times a day, and at those points you ask yourself, in this moment, what is your emotional state? The answer to that question generally is not going to be happy. This can lead you to the conclusion that you are not a happy person. Happiness is an elevated state. If you were happy all the time or every morning, it would just be your baseline and would not even register as happy. To live is to want, and to want is to suffer. Unfulfilled desire and being generally discontent is the natural state of humans. It is why we seek novelty and have ambition, but it is also why we do drugs and have anxiety. We constantly want some unrealized future that we have yet to achieve. This is the root of suffering, the denial of the present state and the denial of impermanence. Story 21. Rarely, but after a great night with friends, a really great night, and you wake up with a small amount of alcohol still in your system, that can be happiness. Story 22. I am like this every morning. I wake up ready to start my morning routine because I have to start my job on time. On weekends, I do not feel any motivation to wake up since I have nothing to look forward to, nor do my parents give me mandatory chores. I still remember when I was 17 and went to summer camp for the first time. I woke up an hour before everyone else, excited for the day. This feeling has never been replicated since the day I moved into my college dorm. Story 23. My toddler is my alarm. It is nearly impossible not to be happy when she wakes me up. She is always so happy that she is finally done sleeping and can enjoy her day again. Story 24. What do you define as happy? For me, it is all about a good night's rest, waking up at the same time every day. It does not always happen, but for the most part, I am the early riser at 5 a.m. for the workout. That is when my day gets started. Speaking for myself, happiness is getting to wake up in a bed, under a roof, with all my health and faculties in order. I get to have the ability to work out. I get to have a good breakfast, a good shower, and then I get to go to a job I genuinely love. Nothing in this list is taken for granted. Story 25. Every morning when I open my eyes and see my girlfriend sleeping beside me, breathing in her freshness, looking at her beauty, she is my reason for waking up happy. Story 26. When I wake up beside my fiancée on a weekend, it feels different. On weekday mornings, I just get up and go to work. It's not usually a bad feeling. I like work, but it definitely involves more stress and adrenaline than happiness most mornings. Story 27. Rarely, but I do not think that is really important. Not just people, but does anything in nature experience happiness in the broad sense? Story 28. I am an older single retiree who fishes 3 to 5 days a week. I wake up happy every day. I can do whatever I want all day long without feeling guilty about it. I do have a lot of aches and pains I did not used to have, but that is just the way it goes. Enjoy it while you can. Story 29. I wake up happy knowing I am going to have some excellent coffee. I have 3 children and a wife. Drinking that sip of coffee really starts my day. Story 30. Most mornings I wake up feeling like I have respawned after taking fall damage. You made me actually laugh out loud and then cry a little for this. I do not know, man. When I wake up somewhat well rested, I remember I have things to do and get on with it. When I am not well rested, I wish I had a few more hours to sleep before getting up because I have things to do. Either way, being happy has nothing to do with how I wake up. Story 31. Every day is happy because I believe the world is going to end soon. So I need to do my part of the work for Jesus. It is a good way to live. I actually believe it is going to end in December 2025. I believe that every year keeps you focused on what the Master wants. Read Rick Joyner's Final Quest, The Call. You will be blessed. Story 32. Every day, a lot of people do not wake up at all. Once you reach a point in your life where you know a few of them, you realize how lucky you are. Story 33. Not often. Life has a way, at least for myself, of bringing whatever might be stressing me into the forefront of my consciousness. That does not mean that I am sad or unhappy, just that I am not feeling happy specifically. Getting older, almost 41, the first thing I usually feel is some sort of shoulder ache, to be honest. Story 34. All the time. I am very happy that at my age I can jump out of bed, jog a couple of miles to the gym, and lift weights to start my day. Story 35. I only wake up happy and excited when I have something exciting happening that day. Most of the time, I wake up feeling neutral or slightly annoyed on workdays. Story 36. This can only happen if I wake up completely by myself without any outside influence. Being woken up by an alarm or a person instantly puts me in a bad mood. Story 37. No one wakes up truly happy. Happiness does not happen by accident or by default. Being content is a good place to start, though. What you are talking about is your ability to frame your life in a positive way. It is what you tell yourself. You need therapy, my man. It is that simple. Story 38. When I get up and the weather is pleasant, large fluffy snowflakes slowly fall to the ground, or sun rays shine through lush green trees, or there is a massive rainstorm. I sleep very well during heavy rain because it is natural white noise. Story 39. More often than not, I would measure it more closely as content. At 55, I have experienced a fair amount of death around me, from young to old. It really makes me appreciate the most valuable thing I have: life. My life is far from ideal, and I have my share of personal demons that I battle every day, but I am happy for the ability to battle them. Story 40. Every day, I cannot remember the last time I woke up not happy. I do not always wake up feeling the most rested or physically the best, but I am never not happy. Story 41. I felt this way when I hated my job. I got the exact same job but working from home full-time, and miraculously, I do not hate my life anymore. Story 42. Most days, I experience diagnosed depression that mostly takes hold at night. Vitamin D is helping during the darker months. Story 43. Enough. But there have been times after a difficult life event when I wake up feeling heavy and unmotivated. Then there have been times like when I have fallen in love, or it is a weekend with the kids, or some special event like a concert is that night when I spring out of bed like a cartoon character, brimming with joy and energy. I aim for contentment, but neutrality is just fine. You might be in a low period of life, or you might need to talk to a therapist. Maybe you need to follow the Old English and Irish proverb. To be happy, you need something to do, someone or something to love, and something to look forward to. Story 44. That's a question also asked by my therapist, and I couldn't answer. I don't even know if I ever woke up feeling happy. Well rested, yes. Mornings are kind of all right. I am happy if I wake up without any pain in my neck or shoulder. Story 45. Wise words spoken to me by someone else when I was younger. Only you can make yourself happy. Others in your life may be close enough to try to do things to make you happy, but that is not their primary responsibility. It is your responsibility. So to answer your question, no, I do not particularly wake up happy that much. I wake up even-keeled, usually. Then throughout the day, depending on what I have going on, I do small things to make myself happy. Happiness does not fall into your lap. It requires doing things, making changes, and taking care of yourself. Story 46. Most mornings. Divorced. Nice girlfriend. Financially stable. Health under control. Warm house. Good children. Story 47. It is much rarer when I wake up in a bad mood. If someone is that unhappy just waking up in the morning, perhaps some life changes are necessary. Life is what you make it. Story 48. I never wake up happy. I love to sleep, so it irritates me when I have to stop. Eventually, I might feel happy, but it is never how I feel upon waking up. Story 49. Rarely am I happy in a joyful and energetic sense. Most days, I am well-rested and in tolerable morale. I also rarely wake up depressed or anxious. Then again, I am not a morning person. Story 50. Just about every day, I wake up happy. I love my life. I have a wife and son I adore. We are not wealthy, but we do not live paycheck to paycheck. I have hobbies and friends that I spend time with online. I do not live in the same state as them. I exercise daily by playing frisbee golf and running around the block. I am not paying for a gym. Story 51. Every day I wake up with my son's voice calling me as soon as he opens his eyes. He is 2 and I am loving it. Other than that, it is pretty rough to handle everything. Story 52. I never wake up happy or sad, just tired and feeling empty. Yes, I go to a psychologist. I wake up from Monday to Friday at 5 a.m., go out on the street, and study in a noisy environment where the supposed responsible adults do not seem to care about your anger. So no, I do not wake up happy. I wake up angry. Story 53. Happiness versus joy applies. Happiness is fleeting, lasts only a few moments, and is typically experienced as an effect of somebody's work. Joy you create and it takes work, but it is much longer lasting and is where life satisfaction comes from. Watching as you give a child a balloon or ice cream cone, flying a kite, receiving a gift, or tasting a delicious cake brings a moment of happiness, and then that happiness is gone. Joy is generally the result of conscientious work. Spending weeks, months, or even years on a project and watching it come together brings long-term joy. Tending a backyard garden for months and bringing in the fruit at the end provides lasting joy. The accumulation of thousands of interactions with children and watching them grow into successful adults brings long-term joy. Regular gatherings and meeting with friends to encourage each other's long-term growth as humans also brings long-term joy. Research indicates these types of long-term efforts are where you find lifelong effects on well-being. I can usually track my long-term well-being by how my long-term projects and hobbies are going. If I am not satisfied with life, I work to bring more life energy around creation, growth, and relationships as classically defined. I will draw something, build something, or connect with other people in a meaningful way. I have found the best way to rapidly improve my well-being is to volunteer at a welfare kitchen or do similar volunteer work. Story 54. I am usually upset that I have to get up, but overall, I am still looking forward to the day. I am just upset that I stayed up too late again. However, I really enjoy my morning coffee, so that always puts a smile on my face shortly after getting up. Story 55. I have been waking up happy this year because I have been going to bed on time. On time means 9 hours before my alarm. I have been sleeping amazingly and waking up feeling good. I stopped overeating in my evening meal and that also helps. I am not interested in screen time 30 minutes before bed because I am so tired. I know this is working because this long weekend I ate a lot and went to bed late, and I felt terrible again. Story 56. Same here. I swear, every morning feels like I have taken a 5-hour fall into oblivion, and then the alarm just yanks me back. Coffee is my only friend in the morning. Story 57. When I am lying in bed awake, I am usually very indifferent. It is the moment I have to get up when any sort of emotion starts to hit. I guess I do not really wake up feeling happy. Story 58. I can remember it is really a mixed bag. While some mornings are amazing, others can be almost miserable. Perhaps it is natural. Story 59. The thought of getting out of bed fills me with dread every morning. I cannot even remember being happy for an extended period, anything more than a few minutes at a time. I am just staggering through life. I have no idea what respawn after taking fall damage is supposed to mean. I think it is not good. Story 60. Usually, right after I finish a long project at work, I feel relieved. But then it only lasts a couple of days until I get back into work mode. To counter this, waking up easily is better for me in the long run. When you wake up on your own right around when your alarm would go off, you get to snooze, then slowly and calmly start your day. Waking up with urgency due to adrenaline just ruins your whole day. Story 61. I wake up happy pretty much every day, but it is not like a musical where I jump out of bed, sing, and a bird lands on my hand or anything exaggerated. I actually love my life right now, but it was not always this way. I have an excellent job that has me working as a major part of a big project that I am excited about. I love my girlfriend and my cats. I have fun hobbies, go to the gym, and in general, things are going great for us. Story 62. I feel like happiness requires a certain amount of energy and enthusiasm that I simply rarely have when I exit dream world and enter the land of the living. Content, though? Definitely been content. That spongy early morning feeling when rising and you know you have a free morning and can just potter about. That's the good stuff. Story 63. I wake up happier when I do not watch or listen to the news the night before or in the morning. I need that peace to clear my mind. Story 64. Not as often as I would like, but just because I wake up unhappy does not mean happy things do not happen during the day. Story 65. I think the last time I woke up happy was on a vacation with a group of friends back in the past. It does not happen particularly often, unfortunately. Granted, I do not usually wake up miserable either. Waking up is generally a neutral experience. Story 66. Unless I am on vacation or have something special planned, I just wake up neutral. It has been the same way my entire life. Waking up happy for no reason sounds manic. Story 67. I am rarely happy when I wake up because I barely know who, what, where, or when I am for about 20 seconds after my short stint in the void. I become happy or not happy when I remind myself of what I have planned for the rest of the day. A meeting with my brother, going riding, work, a day of just staying at home playing video games, cleaning, realizing my foot is still injured. Those things make me happy or annoyed or sad. Waking up does not. Story 68. As a comic showed, a man finds a genie. I wish to be happy. Happiness is not really a means, but an end. In therapy, he says, I wish to stop being unhappy. Happiness comes as part of success in life endeavors. Some are small and short-term, some are large. I do not wake up happy, but I am happy with things in my life. I have lots of satisfaction and self-confidence due to what I have accomplished and what I have built as part of my life. Am I happy with all aspects of my life? No. There are plenty of things I wish I could fix and improve. But that is life. Striving to take a situation that is bad or not ideal and working to improve it. Then move on to the next thing. Things will change from good to bad, and the work is to improve them as they happen outside of your control. The important thing is to have a support system so that when you lose faith in your ability to fix it, you have others who will lift you back up and put you on the path to improvement. Story 69. Waking up? Happy? What the heck? I don't feel anything until I'm awake, which means one sports direct-sized mug of coffee pressure washed into my throat. Story 70. It only happens on weekends because I do not have to wake up early and go to work for a company whose management is unaware that the company is struggling. Story 71. Every morning, I am still tired sometimes, but very happy to be a father. I like my job, my hobbies, and food. I probably should exercise more, much more, but I am not unhappy because of it. Story 72. I often wake up with a sense of joy that all will be okay regardless of the drama and insecurities of life. God is truly good. Story 73. The last time I can remember was probably Christmas as a kid or a random Saturday morning watching cartoons. Story 74. Honestly, often enough, my mornings are kind of a rush. But if I do not wake up directly happy, I am usually there in short order. I enjoy myself as a habit. Story 75. It has been a long time. When I was in a relationship, mornings were enjoyable for the most part, and now I dread existing when I wake up. After I ignore the depressing thoughts, I pet my cat, drink an energy drink, and I am good to go. Story 76. Almost never. I got engaged 2 months ago. It was very happy. I planned it so that none of our family knew it was coming. It was ours. I'll spare you the details, but it was at our old high school. I'm giddy just thinking about that moment again. We took half an hour, then realized that the alumni director had taken a photo. We were now against the clock to call our family and tell them before they found out through social media, which would have disappointed them. The happiness faded quickly. Life returned so fast that we just had to work. It became a chore immediately, and my mother was upset we didn't include her. Her mother was busy and brushed us off. Life just took our moment and crushed it. That is why I have now advised some friends who plan to get engaged soon to plan a little time afterward to just enjoy each other's company. Wake up happy. In the last year, I can think of 35 minutes of true blissful happiness. Story 77. I am happy once I have accomplished something. Sleeping accomplishes nothing, so why do we need to wake up happy? That is counterintuitive. When was the last time you went to bed happy? Story 78. If I wake up on my own on a rainy day, I am happy. If I wake up and see it is sunny, no. If my alarm goes off, no. Story 79. I haven't woken up happy since my bed, big enough for two, has been just me. I moved to the couch recently to see if it would help, but I think I just hate existing at this point. Story 80. I usually wake up numb and empty, feeling neutral. For me, happiness needs to be a result of a stimulus. Hopefully, one day I can reach the point where I wake up and my baseline emotion is happiness. Story 81. Wake up happy? What kind of horrible morning person do you think I am? I am not even coherent until I get some coffee. Emotions happen later. Story 82. You're right. Almost always, I wake up thinking of my daily plans, having worries and a sea of thoughts. I forget the most important thing, to live, not survive. Story 83. 99% of the time, I have been like this since I was a little girl. When I wake up, my first thought is, I wonder what nice thing is going to happen today. I can hardly wait. Sorry, I am a woman. Story 84. I wake up happy every day. If you wake up, it is a reason to be happy. You are on the sunny side of the dirt, and anything can happen. Be happy. Story 85. I took off work to play Red Dead Redemption 2 the day it was released about 6 years ago, and I think that was the last time I woke up happy. Story 86. I am not hungry, dehydrated, or about to die of diarrhea. I am not afraid of the local warlord taking my children to be child soldiers or sex slaves. I have not been systematically raped, shamed, and punished for being raped. I am not literally enslaved and forced to work until I die. Most people in the world face these kinds of problems. Compared to that, my existence is a fantasy. Story 87. Up and not crying is how I describe it. Life is a constant, round after round struggle until you hear the final bell. Story 88. I do not think I have woken up genuinely happy in years. Being honest, I kind of forgot what it feels like. Most days, I wake up feeling lethargic or sick and emotionally drained. Story 89. Yes, but that is why we have to activate ourselves to get that vibe and energy when we are older. By older, I mean in the routine of our jobs. So what I do when I wake up is go for a walk and sometimes buy a coffee while listening to something. This gives me a lot of energy to take on the day, which in the end makes me more content, at ease, and happy. Story 90. Rarely, I usually wake up feeling groggy with an urge to urinate, but then my girlfriend rolls over and hugs me, and I start feeling happy, until she realizes I have the urge to urinate and threatens to press on my bladder because she is a menace. Then I start fighting for my life. Story 91. Honestly, my life right now feels like a comedy of misfortunes so absurd that the few people I have started telling are blown away. Never mind waking up happy. It feels like a victory every time I wake up. Story 92. I usually feel pretty happy waking up on my scheduled days off. I wake up thinking, oh, I don't have to go anywhere today. Not anywhere I don't want to, anyway. This is great. That is a definite happy moment. Then I spend 15 minutes singing in the shower because I don't have to rush. Story 93. Not happy, just content and reset. This is great on days when I went to sleep the night before feeling angry or upset. Story 94. Most of the time, I do not know. There is too much that I have done and accomplished to not be happy to a degree. Granted, some days it is easier to wake up than others. Story 95. Every morning, happiness is a choice just like all the others you have to make in a day. Every choice you make has a consequence. So choose happiness. Story 96. I usually wake up in a good mood. I tend to stay in a good mood until I have a reason not to be. This is regardless of whether I have to go to work or if I have someone in my life at the moment. I appreciate what I have. Years ago, I went through a dark time. I had lost everything and had to start over. I made it through and I am better for it. Now I appreciate what I have, I try to look out for others, and I choose to be happy. Happiness is not about getting everything you ever wanted. It is wanting what you have. Rabbi Hyman Schachtel. Story 97. Respawned after taking fall damage is literally the most accurate description of how I wake up 7 days out of every 7. Story 98. Happiness is a side effect of being fulfilled and achieving things. It is not an endpoint or a goal. Conversely, you will never be happy if you are not living a fulfilling life or achieving your goals. Story 99. Yeah, I like my life and I wake up happy enough. Not an exaggerated happiness with a big grin on my face. More satisfaction with the usual routine of coffee, toast, and the sounds of my wife getting ready for work. My job is decent enough, bills are paid, and my marriage is good. Very content. Story 100. You need love in your life. Now that my partner allows me to sleep in the same bed again, from our cozy cuddle times to waking up together, it is always happy. Story 101. Usually, I only wake up happy if my wife and I have made love before going to sleep. So not very often at all. Story 102. I do not know what happy means, but I am content and not unhappy probably 70% of the time. Sometimes I hit ruts where I feel off for about a week for no reason. Workouts suck, my head feels weird, my stomach is off, I feel stupid and irritable, my baseline anxiety is high, and I have some sort of obligation that is bugging me. When that is not happening, I am good. Story 103. Avoid social media for at least an hour. An hour is too much? Try 20 minutes, during which you can work out and watch the sunrise depending on the time you wake up. Story 104. Working at a private special needs school has brought incredible work-life balance, and I have never felt more fulfilled. Monday through Friday, I tend to wake up feeling happy. My coworkers are often wonderful to be around. Story 105. Depends on what you mean by happy. One day, I woke up feeling purposeful, as I had planned a busy day and was ready to tackle it. One day, I woke up and my dog was sleeping on my bed. I felt intense affection towards it. One day, I got an email in the morning that the project I was working on was approved, and I felt accomplished. All of these are flavors of happiness, but one on its own is not enough. That is happiness to me. It is the positive highs that define my life on a daily basis. To be happy is to cultivate a life that gives me these moments as often as possible. Story 106. Since I got sober, I am on the right antidepressants, and am pursuing things that are important to me. Most days I wake up happy. Story 107. Usually only once or twice a week on the weekends. I do not think I have ever woken up happy on a day that I have to go to work. I do not hate my job, but I have to get up earlier than I would like and I have to leave my family, so it is not something I look forward to each morning. Story 108. I tend to think ahead to the next day and make sure there is at least something I am looking forward to before I fall asleep. It could be a new project, my hobby time, time with someone, trying a new recipe, or sometimes even nice weather. Story 109. I wake up happy most of the time, but I think that has a lot to do with where I have gotten myself in life in terms of work, relationships, finances, and my inner work and healing journey. When I was younger and not as established, I woke up stressed or unhappy more often because I was not comfortable with myself or where I was in my life. Of course, there were days I woke up happier than usual, but those were exceptions. If I had to rate my baseline on a scale, with 1 being depressed and hating life and 10 being euphorically happy and excited about everything, I am usually a 6 to 7 most days, with the occasional 8 and rare 9 here and there. Story 110. What kind of person wakes up smiling? I am a happy person, but the first hour of the morning is not the time for mood. I am just waking up. Story 111. I am a good actor, but genuinely do not remember. Maybe 15 years when I felt happy and was not faking it. Story 112. When I have clarity in my heart about what exactly feels joyful in my body, I wake up genuinely happy. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.